recording now, so formally welcome to this meeting. This is the Asian Supervision Network. And for people who are going to be listening, we meet once a month. It's always the last Wednesday of the month in Asia. Wherever you are in the United States may change, sometimes may or may not be the last Tuesday of the month. And the goal is to create a community and learn from each other. Today, Zsofia is going to be doing a facilitation of a conversation about trends in supervision. Next month, Tim is going to be presenting. Tim, do you want to tell people what you're going to be doing?
Yeah, there's a model of supervision practice that Tatiana Bakarova teaches, which is around philosophy, purpose, and practice. And I'll be talking about that three-tiered model.
Mm-hmm. Great.
I can go into more detail, but we'll keep people interested.
Good. Looking forward to that. So people already say hi. We start introducing each other. Zsofia, we're in your hands. Now let's go wherever you want to go.
Yeah, thank you so much, Damien, for the invitation. And I'm Zsofia. I'm based in Australia, in Brisbane, originally from Hungary. I've been coaching for 21 years, and since 2017, I did a supervision course, and then I do quite a lot of group supervision, not one-on-one, and I really enjoy this space to meet with other supervisors. So thanks, Damien, for the invitation. And as Damien said, this is more of an opportunity to reflect of what are we noticing, what are the challenges that's coming up to our clients, and how we can support ourselves and each other in this community. What are maybe some patterns that we are noticing? And when we checked in with Damien, that we also discussed that in the last month or 3 weeks, that we started this conversation of me being here and facilitating, presenting, that so much has happened and so much has changed, and another place where the world is becoming less settled, and we don't know what we are opening the news to in a way. So there are three things that I guess if I reflect on being a supervisor or also coaching leaders, that what I'm noticing is that yes, change is constant, and I'm sure you heard this way too many times. But then the other aspect of this is the AI and the technological aspect of change, and how we need to adapt, and how our clients are adapting to these changes, and the wars, politics, and economics. So how business is being done, what are we noticing with our clients as well, and in our businesses, how all these impact of on us and our clients, and then definitely how we. Hi, Janine. Good to see you. And I don't know about your work, but I work across the globe. I have half of my clients in America and the other half in all of the world, and I'm Hungarian living in Australia. So definitely this cultural aspect of how it shows up, how it impacts us, and also more so the religion. So I have had clients in Australia as well who were Jewish, and they were really like, I don't know if I can go out, and what will happen if I go on the streets, and or how, she was expecting something from the leader, her leader, so is it happening or not? So how we are creating safety and how safe we feel in our own places as well. So Jenny, it's just more like checking in, and then it's more of a conversation, and I don't know, Damien, are we going to go into breakouts or are we going to stay here so I can adjust?
It's up to you. It's a small group, so we'll see.
Yeah.
If we have six people maybe coming, like two groups of three, we can do that. Maybe you want to.
Okay. So I want to invite all of you to share, like, what are you noticing, and how does these things impact you or your clients, and also before we dive into the conversation, where are you based, and one sentence about you. Tim, you are off mute, so can I go with you first?
Yeah, sure. So I'm based in Sydney, in Australia. I got into coaching supervision through the Oxford Books program, and I studied with Tatiana. I've done 2 programs with her now. And noticing the world seems more chaotic.
Yeah. Thank you. Scott, what would you like to share?
I live in Wuhan, China, and mostly coach internal people in my company and train people And so, I'm just getting going with supervision. So I'm not, I don't have a background or context for the different trends and what's changing.
I'm sure that you might have your own trends like within the internal context that you are working, like if there is anything you pick up and notice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jackie? Jackie, you froze?
Yeah, she's frozen.
Okay, Catherine then, until Jackie resumes her internet.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Catherine Song, and actually my first name is Myung Lim, but it's difficult to pronounce, so you can call me Catherine. I stepped into the coaching in 2003, so 22 years in States in corporate coach university, and at the time I didn't know what the coaching is, but my mentor asked me to be a healthcare coach. So it's before the Korean the coaching association is settled in, but I just flew from Seoul to Atlanta and get some training over there. So I realized that what the coaching is and ecology is and kind of things. And then I run my business in healthcare area. I used to work for Merck Sharp and Dohme, and then more. I setting my company in healthcare communication in Korea. And after I merged into the Ogilvy Health World, and then I become the free from my company. Then it's more working as a business coach. And last year, I start to learn what the supervision is, and it's more just a step into the supervision world. So I'm just be here as a starter, and I'm interested in the more linked to a global and Asian community in supervision area, bridging into the Korean supervision society. So thank you for me to introduce myself and just overview of my background.
Thank you. Welcome. Janine?
Thank you. Yeah, it's lovely to be here. I'm normally based in the UK, so normally this time would not be good for me, but as I'm here in Australia, I'm just delighted to be here and catch up with some familiar faces, Sophie and Scott. I haven't met you, Catherine, before, and of course, Damien, I saw you earlier this morning, which was wonderful. And so I train coaches, I mentor coaches, I supervise coaches. I also have an executive coaching business as well. So, and I believe what you're asking for, Sophia, is what am I noticing in terms of trends in relation to maybe the bigger picture? Yeah. So it feels like that, based on my own personal experiences, that organizations, people are less willing to invest in themselves. There's a lot of fear about, I guess, money, resources to, should I be investing in self or my teams or whatever it may be. So that's what I'm noticing. I guess all of this change and uncertainty is creating a lot of fear, which is impacting decisions to do this deeper work that we do.
Yeah. So it does trickle down into investment eventually, or this chaos, as Tim said.
Yeah.
Thanks. Damien, you are normally based in Los Angeles, now in Buenos Aires.
You're right. Yeah. So here it's midnight.
Oh, wow.
So I had
What a commitment.
Yes, I had a long day. And well, I think that, Interesting, the trend that I see in supervisions are related to the trends that I see in coaching. And I believe that there are some issues related to technology and AI. And I think that as a professional practice, we need to reinvent ourselves. I do believe that AI is impacting and affecting the work of coaches. I think some of the work of coaches can be replaced by AI. And yeah, it is true that human beings cannot be replaced by AI, and the wisdom, the intuition, many things that people are talking. But do you know what? Many clients may not care about that. So sometimes there are days that I'm less positive about the future, and my followers don't like that. They want me to say the future is right. Everything is going to be great, and sometimes like this weekend I was meeting with some supervisor graduates from my program. We met in Buenos Aires, and we're going again this weekend for a retreat. 12 of us. I think I'm looking forward to that. And they were asking me about this question, and I didn't want to tell them. I didn't want to tell them that I had some real concerns about how things are going to change. I think that that we're not going to have work, but it's going to look different. So I think that we need to be prepared so we are not surprised. What I do know is that many of my clients, people that work with me or for me, they're struggling this year with clients and getting more work. So I don't know what is the case of the people in this call. And they are based in mainly in United States. So in Latin America, that I do a lot of work, but it's work from the heart. Like I don't see much income from all of the work that I do in Spanish. But still, I do a lot of stuff in Spanish as a volunteer, or charging really very little. So yeah, so I'm very curious to hear other people's reactions to that.
Thank you. So, and welcome, Jackie. Oh, glad that you could make it back. You are on mute.
The network around here
Yeah.
just died. There's a storm brewing, I think. So apologies.
So it was one sentence about you.
Yes.
And where are you based, and what are you noticing in your supervision?
I just caught the tail end of what Damien said, so forgive me, I haven't heard the rest. I've got what is known as a micro business in Australia. So there's two of us that run the practice who are the leads with the teamwork mostly and the business development. And then there's 4 associates that we bring in for certain things. And as I said, my supervision journey is very new. So I'm sort of in transition, sort of trying to figure out how to bring that into bear. What I've noticed, I'm based in Orange, which is a lovely wine region. That's one of the benefits. And we move between doing work regionally for regionally based organisations and government organisations through to Sydney, where I was for 25 years of my corporate life. And we work mostly either with mid-tiers. So that's like, in Australia, that could be as small as 80 people through to about 400 or 500 people. And that allows us to work with the CEO, the board, and the top team, which is the space we like to work in. And then the other part of our work is in government, where you've got large teams, lots of projects going on. What we're noticing is budgets are very much more constrained in areas where they previously haven't been, and in sectors where they have not been as well. So financial services and insurance, they're normally the last to pull their horns in on something like this, but in reaction to trends, in my experience. And I spent a lot of time in banking in my corporate career, so we went through a lot of shifts, and I didn't see the budgets constrained except for when we went through the global financial crisis. That was the only time in nearly 30 years of working in that space. But I'm seeing it now. And I'm also seeing it in government. As you know, Damien and others from overseas you may know, our Prime Minister recently got in again, Labour government, and the previous ministers for New South Wales, the state, really put in place some measures to contract the numbers of government employees quite considerably at senior level, and that is now playing out. And I think there was many that thought that that wouldn't happen, and it is happening. And that is your last bastion of people pulling their horns in, is government. When they start, letting government employees go, then, what we're seeing internally is more of an emphasis on the performance of those that are actually still there. And that's a good thing in a way. So that's just a taste of what I'm seeing in my small little world.
Thank you. And I think it does seem fit to, again, the what Damien said, what Janine mentioned, and I think Tim put it into one word, the chaos that we are observing on a local, regional, or even global level. So Damien, would you like to put us into 10-minute breakout groups or pairs, and then we come back and we can discuss all this more in these small groups, and then when we come back to share to everybody in the group, to what are you discuss, what is your learning, and how we can, I guess, resource ourselves. What are the ways we need to look after ourselves as well, and how the future forward.
Okay, so Zsofia put you in one of the groups too, so there are two triads. Okay.
Come in. But thank you.
No, it was really good time. Thank you.
Yeah. So welcome back. So what was your conversation in your respective groups? Who would like to share? And I didn't nominate any. I didn't ask to nominate a sharing back person.
Our group started to talk about coaching in an AI world and how that works. And we're talking through the limits of what AI can do, at least currently, in terms of being able to feedback emotion as well, whether or not it's able to feedback emotion as well as kind of content. And so that was one of the things. Jackie was mentioning too that at least at the moment, it doesn't work for groups and teams. And so we were thinking about it, given that it's coming in, especially at lower levels and at skilled levels, where is the space that we will add value? And those were two areas we started to talk about. Guys, what did I miss?
I think one of the things, I forget which one of you shared, but when some clients don't want to practice a new skill with a coach, but they will practice with AI. And so just that interesting notion that there's no judgment in the AI, right? There's no possibility of judgment because it's not a real person. And even no matter how good of a coach you are, that is that's it. And then there's Jackie was just finishing up. We ran out of time, but she was talking about some of the younger generations sometimes prefer to have a conversation with AI rather than friends or parents, which makes me feel scared when I hear about that. But that is where they are. I don't know if you weren't finished, Jackie, if you wanted to say any more about that.
You're mute, Jackie.
Sorry, it keeps flicking itself onto mute, so I'm not noticing. Sorry about that. So I've read a piece of research on from a company that is developing an AI bot, if you like, but also doing it hybrid-wise with human coaching. And it's an Australian woman who's lived overseas, I understand, for quite a while. And she's developing this, and she's brought it now. She's developed it globally and now bringing it to Australia. And on her website, there was a piece of research which I read that talked about the various generations and the differences between us all. Very generic, obviously. There's always exceptions. But she was saying, or the research they've done was saying, that that is the case, that Z Gen, any of you that have young kids, so those that are, I guess, would be about 17, 18 now, maybe, up to maybe mid to late 20s.
25, yeah.
Yeah. They are quite happy to be without human contact for a lot of their time. And therefore, once they move into more senior roles or they start to go up the food chain of organizations, they're going to find it challenging because they'll have to interact more, presumably, or not, depending on AI and how evolved it gets. Maybe they don't. That's they like to text each other. They don't actually want to pick up the phone and talk. So maybe this will work for them.
Interesting, because in our group, thanks for sharing for all three of you, we ended up talking about the Middle East and the impact of navigating all these political and changes and how close it is to us, as Catherine is having a grandchild in America for the first time and how she cannot be there, or Janine, that your business and how and your partner are now traveling through that region, and also what I took away from it, and please feel free to add, is that as we evolve and we are benefiting from coaching and supervision, that how we are our response and responsibility changes to these challenging situations through maturing, through maturity and meaning making as well. So Janine and Catherine, feel free to add, but that was my very brief summary and nutshell.
I think Zsofia, when you're sharing that coaches, as coaches, we hold a space for people to reflect, to learn, to be more effective. And as coaches, we hear the pain of everything that is going in the world, particularly around war, because it doesn't matter where you are in the world. When you hear, what's happening in the Middle East, you wonder, what could happen. And you hear people in Russia say, no, the Third World War is coming, now, if coaching, we hold a space, and supervisor, we hold a space for the coaches. I do believe that for supervisors, it's we need to be aware of the weight of holding the space for the coaches who hold the space for everybody else. And my experience over the years is sometimes, and I will include myself, we do not pay enough attention to how heavy can be holding that space for everybody. If we don't find a place for somebody to hold a space for us. So how we can also look for that. Jenny, we're going to say something.
Yes, I was in response to what Zsofia shared, and thank you, Damien, for what you've shared, because what I was sharing in our group, and it's interesting how the two groups have focused on two different things, which is fantastic. And I was explaining how I've experienced quite a number of shocks to my business: COVID, business partner exiting, now what's happening in the Middle East, which directly impacts my business, which is largely based in the Middle East. But I was sharing how I would have responded very differently if this happened many years ago. I would have been in a tailspin and my world just closing down because of my mindset back then. But just the beauty of the work that we do, the power of this work, has enabled me to navigate those challenges and open up new perspectives, new doorways, new openings. And I was just sharing how supervision is so important for ourselves to be nurtured and to be able to, find those different doorways and insights and learning for ourselves. That has created this mindset that I've noticed is very, 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 very different to the one that I used to hold years ago because of this powerful work that we do. So supervision, again, is just so important. to be able to be the instrument that supports others. So that's my piece. I don't know, Catherine, if you wanted to share anything else from our group.
I just like to join our small group and then sharing the very personal things, but it's all different words, but in all same in chaos, in privately or kind of business. So what can we do in supervision way from personal perspective? That's what I'm thinking now.
And as we wrap up, I really want to acknowledge all of you for being here. And like what I'm hearing is that, and sensing is that, just as coaching is very powerful for the clients that we work with, supervision is just as powerful us to be able to hold that space and hold the heaviness, as Damien said, that and we don't notice it sometimes when it's happening, but more so afterwards. So definitely finding ways to either attend supervision or whatever ways, like walking, traveling, having joy. And I really want to acknowledge Damien, like, he's always running his company virtually and still fitting in a lot of family time and ways to connect. And because my assumption is that that's what's helping you.
You're right. You're working here. You're right.
Yeah. So what maybe as we wrap up, what would be one sharing or one way for you that you want to share with us as a group, that what is your way of, I guess, resourcing, refilling those buckets that we need to fill up, like, so we can learn from each other as well. Maybe we haven't thought about something. So what's working for you?
So I think that today I wrote a post in LinkedIn, and I think Janine, you've seen it, about that, about how to deal with this war and how we need to take care of ourselves to some extent to be able to navigate it in a way that is peaceful, let's say, because it's what is peace. And talking to people is one of the ways, I believe, and having conversations, sharing what's in your mind, what are your concerns, put it in words, articulate it in language, and have spaces to reflect on it. And that's one of the things we can do, we can offer to our clients too.
Is this post that the Press for Peace that you are referring to?
Yes, with the button. I don't think that the picture, it was not very popular. It's interesting that it was not a popular post. I didn't have a lot of responses. So I invite you to go and look at it. Maybe the picture was not a good one. Certainly the picture would attract people to this post. Maybe I didn't choose a good one this time.
Thank you. Who would like to share next?
I was just going to share that, what I really appreciate these spaces that are created. Thank you, Damien, for doing that. It just draws in people from different places in the world, different cultures. And, that's what I've really appreciated since COVID occurred. Of course, a business in the Middle East, it's working with lots of different cultures. So I've had that wonderful experience, but it's very much in working in the Middle East, it's very Western, but also Arabic, Asian. So what I've really appreciated since COVID occurred is being able to build these wonderful communities, which you do so well, Damien, that brings people from all around the globe, and just to really appreciate different cultures, different ways of thinking and being and doing. So, and that helps me to grow. That helps expand my awareness. So I really appreciate these spaces that attracts curious people who want to enhance humanity. So it's powerful for me. So thank you.
Thank you. Jackie?
Trees. I know that's a very odd thing to say, but trees for me, and walking and being amongst them, is how I have nurtured myself, I suppose, and I'm lucky I'm surrounded by them. So, you know, it just puts things into perspective for me when I'm you know, feeling topped up by stuff, whatever it may be. And I just find being amongst that and being quiet and just being grateful for the little things that are around me, and, you know, friends, family, connections, as Janine said. These groups are really important, and I think we all got a bit better at doing those during COVID, and it's lovely to be able to keep it going as well.
Thank you. Catherine.
And for me, it's the first time to be in this space, and then I feel everyone is the same stage to reframe, you know, the words and space, and in the same chaos. So that's what I feel and get from here.
Thank you. And I guess this was a bit unusual. Like normally last time it was Daniela who was presenting, before it was Inga presenting. So every session is a bit different.
Sure.
Thank you. Scott.
What stands out for me is how, in many ways, our coaching and supervision training is really super advanced training on just how to show up as a real human being. I mean, that's what we do at the end of the day. We're a human being connecting with other human beings or another human being. Both of our trends, with all the conflict and disruption, we need that connection more. And then with AI, and that's what terrifies me about AI, is like you already have depression levels skyrocketing. And if we turn to AI, which is such an easy way of dodging real human connection, we need, it's the human connection in both of those spaces that we need.
Definitely. I appreciate that, the human to human connection. It's always to recognize that and acknowledge that. Thanks. So Tim, you started the checking in. We sort of full circle.
Yeah, look, I always like the opportunity to pause and reflect and think outside of myself and also my own experience of the world. So it's great to come to this and hear that other people are having different experiences and different issues and the major issues for them. And also just to be able to externalize my thought, and so I can bounce off other people. So talking, you know, about an issue and hearing different perspectives on that issue is really good for me. In terms of my own support, I've got my own peer group that I meet with on a regular basis, and I find that supervision peer groups are really useful, and especially as often we work on our own. Well, Jackie says she works in a couple, but a lot of us do a lot of work on our own, and I think it is important for us to make sure we maintain connection too. So in terms of my rejuvenating myself, making sure I'm keeping connections is an important thing too.
Thank you. So communities and finding ways, and for me, I also like to be in community and connect with others, and then there are so many ways we can connect, but also too much, I guess it's getting too scattered. So really balancing that, and I love the beach. You know, I'm from Hungary. There is no much sea, and here in Australia, I can benefit, and luckily, it's not that far away, like 45 minutes, an hour or so. So yeah, thank you for all of you for sharing, Damien for hosting. I don't know anything else that's been. I was trying to wrap it up in the hour because I realize
great.
it's very late for you, Damien.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Yes, I am tired. I'm exhausted. It's 1 o'clock in the morning now here, and I really appreciate you accepting the invitation. And team, thank you for doing the session next month. And I need volunteers for the rest of the year. I know Janine is going to be in the middle of the night for you, but please, if you are willing to do have, I don't know what time is that in the UK, but I assume it's And well, at maybe 8 a.m., 7 a.m., so maybe not so bad. I don't know. We can talk about it. And then for you, the same thing, Jackie, Scott, Catherine, if you want to present or facilitate the conversation like Zsofia did today, please let me know, because this is a community. We are all sharing and supporting each other. So if there is any topic that you want to cover, please let me know so you can do it in the future and complete the schedule for the year. So thanks, everybody. Is anybody going to Converge to San Diego to the ICF conference? Not from here.
No, not
Okay.
this year. Hey,
I
Zsofia,
know
are
it's
you
far.
going to the IPA conference next week in Brisbane?
Which conference?
The
Oh,
International
no.
Positive Psychology
No, because I was
Conference.
thinking of going to Europe, so I wasn't looking at that. But with this thing, I'm not sure. Damien, I had coaching on going to Converge, so we'll keep you updated.
Okay, great. So let us know. We're thinking about doing something the day before with Claire, a colleague. She also trains supervisors in the Middle East too, but she's now based in the UK. She also moved like you, Janine, from Middle East to the UK. So good seeing everyone. We'll see you next month. Okay, take care. See
Thank
you in a
you.
month. Thank you, Zsofia.
Thanks,
You did a great
everybody.
job. Thank you for facilitating the session today.
Thank you, everybody.
Take care.